Guys had a chance to go to the main towns yet? Have you seen those naked bands around yet, or no?
No, but
There's
I'm
already naked
exploring the
bands.
town.
There's already naked bands. I actually thought that was Odra because they were just singing like "Feels Like the First Time."
It's nighttime with the OldGuard Podcast, getting tipsy, getting hard with controllers clash. Cheap night, cause we're feeling kinda thrifty, gonna send back a few, get a little gifty. Hype up the chat, have a laugh or two, look for me and the crew. It's game time, with the host, Carlo Guns, and the rest of the prime. It's OldGuard Podcast time.
Shall we get started? Today we have Fate Odin joining us. What up, Fate?
What's up? What's up?
We have the Big Toe Baggins, Benraz here. What up? Hey, Kaz, how you doing, brother? Good to see you.
Yeah, I'm doing great.
And Odra, who's finally, he was kidnapped for a while by some girl. She locked him up. He finally escaped. He's back. What up, Odra?
Hey,
How does it feel to be a free man?
good, dude. I'm already seen another girl now, so I'll
The-
probably get her.
Dude, this was the time I set you up. You would have been like, I'm good. I'm letting my chest hair out. And you had to get in another relationship.
Like
This
I
is
learned
what's
my
wrong.
lesson from the first
My
one.
didn't say
definitely
that.
not.
My goodness.
He's using her for the winter arc.
That's right. So in today's episode, we're going to try to keep it a lively one. We all have been playing New World. I think all of us here. What do we think? Yeah, Benner has been stuck playing Throne, which is fun. It's a really good game too. But today we're going to do a little bit of New World. What do you think, Kaz?
I think you can love them both since they're both an Amazon creation. I don't have a sponsorship yet, but if they want to reach out, I'm game. But I've been playing New World off and on since launch. One of the first people that bought it, and then I should have refunded it at launch. It was that bad. And then I didn't touch it again for almost 2 years until the Elysian Wilds and all that came out. I thought it was on the way where it should have been, and it seems like to me that they've actually, after 3 or 4 times now, released an enjoyable game. Not 10 out of 10 best or forever, but more enjoyable than it ever has been. So we'll see what they do.
Absolutely. Did you get a chance to try it out, Fate?
Yeah, I mean, like I've actually been in the same position as who was that, Kaz, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I played it in the beta, like way back when it used to be kind of like a crafting city builder MMO-esque thing. And then on release, when they switched it, but you can tell that something wasn't right. And then the second release, and then the fresh start with guns when we played that, and now we're back here. And we'll bring it up. I'll let everybody go. But before that, I just my whole thing with New World has always been I think the game would do better as a seasonal game with seasonal mechanics than what they have going, because that's what it looks like.
Yeah, we'll get
it,
into that. Yeah,
it tapers off, and then they re-release it like fresh start, and then like you see this huge ass spike, and then it tapers off, and then they re-release it, and a huge ass spike, and then it tapers off. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, we'll get into the seasonal thing because I actually agree with you on that. Hey, Odra, did you get a chance to play it a little bit?
I haven't, but I played the public test server. It was basically the same thing. I thought it was really good, and it ran way better than the live game did. But I haven't been able to play it since it came out yesterday, though.
Okay. So I know Benner has been playing through in Liberty, but I've actually been on it now religiously for a few hours, a little bit last night as well. I think it's fantastic, man. I'm having so much fun with it. There's so many players playing. I actually saw some things go in, with PvP. I personally haven't, beat up anybody yet, but there was some amazing fights going on with guilds already. I mean, it's just fantastic. Did you get a chance to see anything, Kaz?
I've seen a couple things. I know that there was a group of people from, what was it, the Marauders, I think it was Green, and they took the first town on the server. I think I was like level 10. It was like maybe 10 a.m., so maybe an hour or two after, and I think they actually claimed Eden Grove. Yeah, that was the first one. So somebody ran over and claimed Eden Grove 51 to 60 zone within 2 hours, which is insane.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, it's great to see these things, right off the bat as we're, trying to like get into the game. And we definitely see a lot of activity, especially, with, crossplay being, I mean, I can just share what happened to me. I was, when I first came on, there were so many people at that beach where you start that I was lagging. I couldn't move. I mean, there was like hundreds of thousands of people. Maybe not hundreds of thousands, but like enough for me, for me to lag out completely.
I tell you what I've been really enjoying as I run around and see people is just the amount of shit talking between the console people and the PC people. That has just never stopped since it started. But it's actually kind of funny because while they're shit talking the console players, if it wasn't for console, I don't think that this game would have concorded if it wasn't for console.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think that the console honestly is going to save them with the amount of players that I saw, and reading some of the chat that's going on. I really do feel like it's going to be just one of those games that's going to have a really good successful comeback. I really do believe that. Um, Benrez, I know you haven't played the last 2 days, I guess, but I know you played it before. What did you think about that? I know you said that you were like super excited about it. Is it just that because of Thorn and Liberty, you haven't had a chance to jump on it?
No, you know what? Honestly, I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna go the PC or the console route before I go ahead and buy this sucker.
Okay.
Because like I keep hearing that like it's running better on console just because they're starting to cater a little bit more to the console people. And
Yeah,
like
let
if I
me.
already got one up and I don't have to like upgrade a computer or anything, I might just run by the PS5 route.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, man. Hey, Kaz, what did you really like about? I know you played it for a little bit. Did you have a good time with any of the questing? Did you notice any changes with that, by the way?
Talking about with New World or with Throne and Liberty?
New World.
Okay. I was like, change the question. So the one thing that they've done differently is that they finally have like a 0 to 60 experience. So there's actually a story to the game now. You understand why these guys are red versus why you're blue. Because when the game first launched, it was so disjointed. The world didn't make sense. And I'm firmly a believer that the community itself, after they realized how easy it was to just tease all the systems and how poorly put together the game was, they, rained down hellfire on it because there was no quest when it came out. There was side quests, but there was almost no main story. It was just disjointed. It didn't make sense, and it had you, oh my gosh, crossing the entire map several times just to turn in one quest. It was bad game design.
All we knew was the Irish lady who we have no clue why she was there.
Oh, that's still a thing. She's Scottish, though.
There's no difference.
We're toast. Oh man, the Irish and the Scots would disagree with you on that. So, Fade, I know you've been playing the hell out of it, and you're ahead of me in level. What's your feel so far as you get higher up there?
Yeah, hitting level 52 right now. I got to 45 last night before I took a pause. Got on maybe like, I don't want to say like an hour ago, and got 51, 52. My feel on it, you don't really, at least in my opinion, story, like I usually speed through the story and I kind of pick up pieces here and there and piece it together myself. So with that in mind, the first time I played it, like in the fresh start, and now yesterday, you don't really, if you're my type of player, what I do, you're not gonna notice too much of a difference with how the game pushes you through a zone until you get to what is the zone that I'm in right now?
Is it
The
Chinaland?
Eden Grove, actually.
Oh yeah.
Now, Eden Grove still looks the same. However, the quests in there did feel different. I don't remember doing the Angry Earth Guardian boss thing or really anything afterwards. I don't remember any of that. But when I played it originally, I But like I said, I didn't really feel a difference going from the early on zones and early on quests. Performance, I know you mentioned like it's better. I had a lot of performance problems.
That actually,
Yeah. Like lag in cities, random like micro stutters out in the world.
Was it like when what we were talking about probably like a couple weeks ago, where you would have like 100+ FPS and then you would stutter for like no reason at all? Like your character would like stutter backwards while he was running.
I've had that happen. I definitely have had that happen. Loading into the game is just awful. Like
Oh yeah.
your first time opening the game up, I have to let it sit there for like 5 minutes. It takes forever to load, and then once you load into the city, like the ground is invisible, and like the textures remind me of RuneScape. It's like teleporting around. You also get the texture thing where it goes to like RuneScape mode. But yeah, I don't. The performance for me hasn't been that great. I've also experienced rubber banding, depending on like where you stand. I've had my guy catapulted out into this like into space during a cutscene, and then when it's over, he like just rubber bands back to where he was standing. It's been hilarious.
Maybe play on console then.
Maybe. I've been hearing that it's been a lot better on console, so I don't know. But when this game first did come out, they were toasting like what 3080s. They were literally like trying to play this game on certain settings, and Amazon was like, "Hey, turn down your settings until we fix it." So,
Upgrade your
I don't know.
PC.
that's what Todd
Maybe
Howard
it's
says.
3080. Like I only have a 4080 to upgrade it to a 4090. Like, what do you want from me?
And I wonder if that issue, you said you're running a 3080. It's interesting because I'm running a 4070 Ti, and this thing is buttery smooth. In fact, I was gonna just say that from a performance standpoint, besides the server having like a constant lag icon on it, which hasn't affected how I play, I haven't noticed any kind of issues at all, regardless of the player population, on either this or on my Steam Deck. And that's a call out that I want to make. Now, granted, I'm not saying that people can't be having issues, but just my experience has been buttery smooth across regular PC as well as a Steam Deck. It performs beautifully. It's very playable. You're not going to be, hardcore PvPing on the Steam Deck. It'll probably choke, but the PC side of things, it's been buttery smooth for me. I hope they fix what's going on for you, because that is not the experience.
Yeah,
It might be just him. It might be just you,
coming from
though.
an IT background, it's definitely possible. Not all hardware or computers are the same. We could both be running 3080, so you can have better performance. Depending what's installed on your computer, what drivers you're on, firmware, yada yada yada. Right?
How many terabytes of videos you got on your computer?
I have that on,
delete all
an
that.
external NAS. I have that on an external NAS, so we're good. We're good there.
No, so I can only say also for me, Faye, to sorry to interrupt, but like I have not had any issues with the servers or anything like that in New World. I'll be honest, the only thing that I've had was with Thorn and Liberty. I haven't had any issues with New World, at least not for the last 2 days that I've been playing.
Yeah, and that's a good example. I was the opposite. I had no issues with Throw Liberty. That thing runs smooth for me. But Kaz, I know you said you don't have any issues. How about that first initial startup of the game? Do you load into an invisible planet, or is that just me?
That's just you. So when I start the game, let me back up here. When I played the closed beta on Xbox, it astounded me, because when I fired up the game before the console porting, I expected to easily go take like a 5-minute break. Amazon's going to sit there with its rainbow, my PC's going to chug, and then I get to the main menu, and then I had the same problem, 2 minutes to load in, even though my setup's, pretty damn good. And after they did the update, man, when I click the icon, the game launches. I'm in before 30 seconds. And then when I get to the main menu, there's no RuneScapiness for me. It's all crisp. And then I just hit play and then I go. So you shouldn't be having any of those issues. I saw that there's like different versions, like a DirectX 12 version. I'm not, obviously, what you're doing, and you probably didn't choose that one, but I wonder how many other people are choosing DirectX 12 and having terrible performance.
You think that's what be it?
They did say it was a beta setting, so
It
it's
is.
possible. I wonder if you can turn that off after you've selected it, like in game or what.
Uh, so it's like a Steam version, and you can absolutely, like on Steam, there's a, if you right click the game and do a properties, you can choose how it launches. In one of the options, I think it's in general, but any game that has like two different clients like that, you should be able to turn it off, because that is
Yeah.
a call out I'll make. I see people getting crashed to desktops. It is a beta release and it sucks.
No beta release will be perfect. I do think that this or this game when it started, so far so good. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there were some lag at the start of that. You know that beach where you arrive, but that's only because there was, like I said earlier, there was like thousands of people there. So there's so many people playing that, I mean, obviously, no matter how good your system is or your network is, you're gonna lag a little bit there. You know. Let's talk about something spicy. Have you guys had a chance to go to the main towns yet? Have you seen those naked bands around yet, or no?
No, but
There's
I'm
already
sure
naked
they
bands.
count.
There's already naked bands. I actually thought that was Odra because they were just singing like "Feels Like the First Time," and they were all just naked in a circle, and they were on point. I want that to be told out there that the entire band was on point. Nobody was missing their chords. It was a wonderful guy singing, probably drunk, but I was like, "Is that Odra?" But I had to go back to leveling. I couldn't, ask for more details. But I
Those
thought that
ones
was
naked
pretty
made.
interesting. Yeah, I know, man.
I do want to call out that this is one of the few games that if you want to be a musician and sit just in the town square and play music for people all day, it's a viable path, because you can give out buffs by playing music. The performance
And get paid.
Yep, and get paid. And the performance itself is an XP thing that makes you have like different little benefits. Like if you miss a note, it keeps playing. And the music system is very much just a direct rip off of Guitar Hero. So it's super interesting to see that they included that, because a lot of people take advantage of it. When you get high enough up, you can give it crazy good buffs for like territory standing, for gathering speed.
Absolutely.
And you go out there with like a 250% gathering speed buff, and you're mining a big old boulder in 2 hits.
Yeah. And so pretty much what Kaz is trying to say, and again, this is on Kaz. What he's trying to say, if you're a lonely man or woman, this is your chance. This is where your calling has come up. Make a character, call her like Lucy or something feminine, and then make her a female. Stand in there, play some music. You will make so many friends. Your head will flip. That's what Kaz is saying. That's not what I'm saying. I just want that out there. That's what Kaz was telling you. So there you go, guys.
This is true.
From the horse's mouth.
Did I miss anything, Kaz?
No, it's a tale as old as time. Just remember.
That's right, man. That's right.
On the internet, girl means guy in real life.
And it's just Uncle Larry from Ohio the entire time. No, dude, all joking aside, I've played Star Wars Galaxies way back in the day. Now, they didn't have the music part where you can control it like that, because I actually love New World's music. I thought the way they played it was super interesting, and it's definitely like a little Guitar Hero-ish, right? But in New World, or I'm sorry, in Star Wars Galaxies, they had the entertainer where you can actually play as an entertainer, level as an entertainer, and you have to give buffs out to people. They were 4 or 5 hours long, and it was such a big thing for everybody. So I'm really glad to see that has made it into New World. I think it's an amazing feature. I genuinely do. Did you guys want to start a band or something? I'll be down for it.
I mean, I'm down.
Yes.
Actually, yeah.
I mean, we're gonna get Odra, by the way, who's from Argentina, to be our lead singer. He's got them hips like Shakira, so it'll be great, man. Notice how Odra didn't say anything, so I take that as a yes.
Because I'm not from Argentina. My fucking grandma's from Argentina.
Yeah, I mean, Fade's posting some pictures. I don't know if I can click on him because I'll just bring him up in the middle during Get It.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I went in and I closed the game and I started as non-DirectX 12, just like the regular, so no beta wonkiness there. And it took about 5 minutes to load from me double-clicking it to sitting in the world. And as you can see, those pictures are like what I see when I load it, and it takes a minute for like all that to kind of load and render. So like the world,
All right.
like there's no floor. Some
Yeah.
structures are missing, and on that second picture, you see things kind of loading into these like RuneScape textures, like that fountain in the middle. It's just blocky. So
I
that's
just
what
think
I
that's
get.
because there's just too many people logging in right now and getting the server, dude. I genuinely think that's what it is.
Maybe it could be, but I mean, it could just be poor optimization on certain like graphics cards or drivers or something like that. Because I had this on the original version of the game, on the fresh start version of the game, even when it started dying off when we quit.
Okay.
I was still having it, and like I had,
So-
I spoke to Amazon support, and they were like, they helped me for like a week, dude. They were with me for like a week, was trying to fix, and they at the end they started ignoring me, and just closed out my ticket.
Oof. Yeah, I mean, hopefully you get that figured out, man. And everybody else that has these issues. I bought a really expensive computer, so I don't have to put up with this. So I don't have these issues. But good luck, peasants. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, before we stop, on the subject of New World, I do want to bring one more thing about it, and I definitely want to hear what Kaz has to say, and Odra and Fate and Benrez as well. Like before, when me and Fate played, we played it for a little bit. I loved this game. My problem with it was, again, the end game, but that wasn't the only thing. The zerging was ridiculous. Unlike on our server, whoever, I think it was the green, whoever those were, I forget what they were called. They took over the entire
magic
map.
Fairies.
Yeah, dude, they took the entire map. And like everybody else was just kind of like, there was like one guild maybe, or one association that was like one or two of the others, to the point where everybody just stopped and they changed to green. And it was just like there was no more PvP or that, because everybody was on the same team. That's what I'm afraid of, happening here. And what Faith said earlier about it, changing like a seasonal, not the entire game, just a faction, where it was like, you have the faction war for 2 months, and then it, resets and you have to do it again just to avoid that. What do you think about that, Kaz?
That's absolutely what they should be doing, because every single MMO that has ever been about faction versus faction PvP, if they include 3 factions like New World did, there will always be one mega faction. We've even seen it in ESO, where people would trade winning the Emperor title based on who wants to pay for it. And the world PvP became a joke for like over a year before Bethesda noticed and said, hey, now we got to mess it up for you because you got caught. But Guild Wars 2, any sort of PvP MMO that I can remember in like recent history, have all had the same downfall, which is that big Zergs just always win. There's just not much of a way to really do much against a Zerg unless you're able to hit them with, artillery or something like that in Guild Wars 2.
Absolutely. Odra, I know you tell people you have a giant schlong. That's why you like these Zergs. We'll leave it at that. But what do you think about it when you played? I don't know if you got that far. Did you see that on the server that we played, where it was just like one faction? Do you enjoy that? What do you think about that?
It's good. Like occasionally it would balance itself out, but for the most part, yeah, it would just kind of be one faction, because they didn't really have any answer to balancing. And then like probably the biggest issue I had was everybody would just do that, especially when the numbers started to dwindle, and nobody would ever do like the 3v3 arenas.
Yeah, definitely. That was my thing too. Yeah, man. Well,
they're taking those out of ESL.
Are they?
Yeah, they're going to 4v4s. They're like, no more 12s, because the third faction sucks and gets bullied.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's the truth. And like, again, my biggest fear is that happening here. Hey, Benrez, do you have any comments on this? Or I don't know if you had that trouble before, because I don't think you played it a lot last time.
I mean, I think it's going to fall into the same trap a lot of PvP-centered games fall into, where it's going to get mined. Like, everyone's going to figure out what to do. Even if this game is just, like, slightly new, it's still the same old game. So they're going to figure out how to speedrun it, figure out how to Zerg it, and then there's nothing going to be left. It's like a lot of these games, like, that people already have experience in, they, like, just get the FOMO of, like, oh, there's new stuff here, and then they'll just drain all the content. But in this case,
Yeah.
since it's PvP, they're just going to capture all the zones and then go fuck off until some more content gets updated.
Yeah.
And Guns, you have an excellent point that they should be resetting the faction war. That's honestly the best solution is that if one
They should.
faction takes over like that, okay, great, the war is over, and then the devs on the server
Yeah.
split and reform as you will, but something to just break the monotony, because there's so many legacy servers where no faction has a chance and the guys in charge actually make alts and do like 1 or 2 fort takeovers and then reverse them just to make it seem like they're not running the whole thing.
Yeah, Fate actually, Fate had that great idea for it, like a total victory kind of thing, a reset. What do you think, Fate? I know you mentioned it earlier today. Do you want to expand a little bit on it?
Yeah. So last night I was talking with a friend about the game, and what he said kind of put me off. And honestly, I don't think it's a good way that they should be doing this. And what should people be thinking about this? His point was like, people need to be doing like the Zerg now, like don't play the game thinking that you're gonna go get the gear and like then do it in 6 months, because there's no point in 6 months. At that point, everybody will already be set up, defended. They'll know how to like take it over or control it. So, and I basically asked him, so you're saying that if you're not part of the Zerg Fest at the start of this game, it was the start of New World, to do all that PvP in the beginning and rush for these bases, then there's no point in coming back to New World in 6 months because all of the fun is at the beginning. And he basically said, yeah, that's what it is. And I think that's just a bad way to do business. So my idea for this whole like territory control is similar to like the Rift system from Rifts, where if you left them alone for long enough, they would expand and become so big that they would encroach on like towns. So I think that's what they could do with these systems in this game, but as like a seasonal wipe thing, where like the corrupted or the angry earth would set up camps near some of these outposts, and eventually if the players aren't defending them, or they could just have a whole event on the server where they would just get swarmed, people get loot, whatever, and take over these camps, and then players would have to then fight that back, and then afterwards they would fight each other for the right to control them again.
Yeah. I mean, I have no idea too. That was
There's
my problem
so much
too.
they
Fate.
could
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, I just hope they do something, because there's so many players playing. Like I'll be honest, dude. We did come from early access, and then first day of Throwing in Liberty, like a couple of weeks back. There was the same amount of people playing in New World, which is crazy. There were so many people logging in when we were logging in like yesterday or whatever. I just don't want to see the momentum go out because of bad mechanics. So I really hope they get into that and try to balance the war, because that's honestly going to be the break it or make it kind of thing for me. Does anybody else want to say
It's
anything
going to
about
have
New
some
World?
kind of like check and balance in place, because if they don't do anything with PvP, they're just going to run into the same problem they had before.
Absolutely. And again, it's a really good game. So I hope they learned and they use common sense. Let's just say that. And then hopefully, we can enjoy some gaming together, right?
Yep.
Does anybody want to bring up anything else about New World?
I got nothing on New World.
No.
No, I think, I could gush about the game and what I enjoy about it, but I think that I'm going to wait a couple more weeks, get to max, and then I'll do that instead. So no, I got nothing.
Yeah. And I mean, definitely, it's still like I said, second day in, so that's totally okay. If you guys are trying to play with us, just so you know, we are on the server Arctica, I believe it's called, and it does get locked out because there's a lot of people playing. So if you wait a couple hours, they do unlock it throughout the day, so you can join. I actually want to bring this over really quick before we, go to something else. Throwing in Liberty. So I don't know what the hell is going on with Throwing in Liberty, but today and yesterday I've crashed about 48 times. I don't know what's happening, but it's starting to really piss me off, and it's coming to the point where this whole thing is just going a little crazy with the crashes. Is anybody else experiencing that, or is that just me? And I'll shut
Nope.
up.
No, if anything, like I'm getting quicker dungeon queues now and shit. Like
Jesus
it's
Christ.
actually running really good.
I've had
So
I've
so
had
just me.
one crash today. It wasn't like a whatever their cheat engine is. It wasn't one of those. It was just like a weird crash, and it kept with like an error report. I was like, "Hey, do you want to send this, to Steam or Amazon or whoever?"
Yeah. So that's the ones that I
my
had
first
too.
one. Yeah, it was my
I had
first
dude,
one for today.
I had a lot. I had a lot.
Now-
I probably 20.
They are doing a maintenance tonight at like midnight central around
Had
there.
a nice little 6-hour maintenance.
Yeah, 6-hour maintenance. They're going to be doing a
Or some
lot of
UI
fixes.
Another one?
changes. and-
A lot
Yeah.
more than UI changes. They're going to be doing some quality of life changes, some dungeon changes. They'll be adding some systems in for us as well. So it's a fair amount of changes and a lot of fixes people are asking for. Also, a lot of bot removal.
Yeah. A lot of people got
banned,
banned, dude. A lot of people got banned with those bots. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. Listen, I want this to be known. Okay, I don't rat at nobody. I'm from Chicago, baby. We don't see shit here. If you see something, I'm fucking blind. I don't see nothing.
No, who that? What?
Exactly. I'm 94% blind out of my left eye, and I don't even have a right eye. However, with that fucking said, dude, the other day I was playing this game, and there was about 20 of them with names like 44X pyramid sign hashtag ula, right? There was about 20 of them just following the first one in a big circle, killing all the mobs. You could tell it was bots. They were probably doing some sort of what is that system called when you can just like play, and play all the characters and they all like on one
No,
keyboard. kind of thing?
multi-boxing.
Yeah. So
sold the accounts.
I don't know, man, but they were like, there was like 20 of them, dude, and they were all just like big, those weird, weird names with just a bunch of different weird letters and shit. So I sat there maybe for 10 minutes just watching, and the first one would run forward and all the others would follow, and then all of a sudden he would press like one. They were all press one. And it was just like they were all triggering the same. Obviously, a bot. They're probably trying to, collect money or whatever the hell they're trying to do. So the first time in gaming ever in 20 years of MMOs, I stopped and I reported that fucker for botting.
Fucking bastard.
I know, man. I feel ashamed, but it had to be done. It had to be done because I was like,
No.
you son of a bitch.
I do want to point this out with bots, and a lot of people don't realize this, and they'll, get upset like, "Hey, this bot was here yesterday, and I reported him. All my friends, and they're still here today." Companies don't ban daily bots. They don't ban individual bots. It's actually not something you want to do. You don't want to ban bots like that, because what they can do is they can trial and error test their programming to see what is flagging them as bots and what the system is getting caught up on, and they can perfect it. When you wait like a month and you mass ban like 100,000 bots, they don't know why or what got them caught. I mean, it's obvious they're running around in like 20 people groups killing the same thing for like 16 hours, but I digress. That's how the companies are handling that, so the bot programmers don't figure out like what is catching them. So I know a lot of people get upset like the bots aren't being banned on a daily basis, but that's why.
Hey, I actually really quick, some hot news, guys. Hot news. So Don, by the way, this is for you. He's in the audience listening to this. I just got my paid sponsorship from Cialis. Penis pills,
Oh,
brother.
hell yeah.
Don, I'm gonna get you like a 50% off, brother. I got you, Don. Yeah. So again, give us a few minutes to finish this. I'm gonna get you that coupon. I know you're a coupon kind of guy, so
Go with the Mando
50% off.
socks.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to tell a joke because bots suck. But no, bots are gonna ruin this fucking game. I actually believe Throne of Liberty is a really good game. Last thing that I want to bring up before them is the pay to win. Now, Fate, Banneraz, Kaz, I know you haven't played it too much. I don't know about Odra, but now we played it for. It's fair to say 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, right? It's fair to say that.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, right now, from what you've seen, is Throne of Liberty pay to win. And I'm not talking about levels. I'm just talking like is this a pay to win game? Fate?
No.
Benrez has no.
Yeah, I have a gradient with pay to win. I have different like
See,
categories of pay to win.
don't you remember earlier I said no levels? These guys just don't
Yeah,
listen. But continue.
I know.
Continue.
I'm sorry. Like for some people, like you buy one thing in the shop that gives you any kind of advantage. Like even if the thing says 1% XP boost for like 10 seconds, and they're like, nope, that's a line you've crossed. Pay to win. You know, for me, it's varying levels. So like the developers, they don't sell anything in the shop that like you can swipe your credit card for, and you instantly, like outside the battle pass, you do have some little incentives there, 100%. But you like Diablo Immortal, you can pay in Diablo Immortal to buy gems that give you power in the game. You can't do that in Throne of Liberty. You can't swipe and immediately, like developers saying like, here you go, here's the best gear in the game. Here you go, here's like trait unlocks. Here you go, here's this and that. You can't do that in Throne of Liberty. The players have to go, somebody in the game has to go kill the boss. Hopefully it rolls well on stats, and then they sell it, and then another player, buys the money and then buys the item. That's how that works. Without the player farming the gear, there is no pay to win there.
Okay.
But
so
there is
go ahead.
There is definitely, can you, with the current player base and that's selling the gear, if you like launch Throne of Liberty right now as a new player, can you go and like spend $600 and be at tippity top? Yeah, you can.
So is that not pay to win then?
It is. But like I said,
what do you mean the grading then?
I have different categories for it.
No,
I have
bro.
That's
You just said it is though.
yeah.
No,
so
I understand.
I know
like,
what he's trying to say
for the
but, yeah.
audience. For the audience, if they like they don't want anything like that, unfortunately that is. But it's like a player induced system. If the player base chose to not do that, which will never happen because people are people, the system wouldn't exist. It exists because the players are the ones making it exist.
Brother, I'm going to say this because I love you and Benrez you too, but you guys are smoking crack. This
if
game
people just decided
bro,
to like pay a subscription to World of Warcraft, they'd make it free to play.
Dude, bro, this game, and again, I love this game. Throne of Liberty, I loved it. I think it's a really good game. Maybe not game of the year, but it's freaking up there. I love it, like almost everything about it. But this is the most pay to win game I've ever fucking seen. Dude, yeah, last night I was PvPing a little bit because I wanted to finish my thing, right? I know Kaz is laughing over here. Dude, I was PvPing last night. I ran into a fucking guy who had like 3,700 power, and I'm over here with 24 looking at him. Dude, he fucking lit me up. I haven't been beat up like that since I went to Germany and like saw those strippers. That was the worst beating I've ever received in an MMO. And like I looked at him and he's like, credit card, baby. And he just walked away. And I'm like, fucking right. Dude, if you can spend $500 or $1,000 right now, if you get to level 50, you swipe, you will be literally at the top, just smashing people. Especially if you're smart about it. If you get all the resistances, you're gonna get fucked. Now, I'm not saying that everybody's doing that. Of course not. I think it's fair to say that it's more of a convenience. Pay for convenience. Like if you don't want to grind for it, you don't want to do this, swipe, you'll be the best. But I think it's a little shameful to say it's not pay to win. That's just my opinion because this is like fucking pay to win.
Like I said,
you're a higher power level than me, but you can't beat me in a duel. And I'm just saying,
damn.
No one's walked up on me in like some structured PvP yet. If these
It's
people
'cause
are
you don't
swiping, they're
PvP.
swiping for me to fucking eat them. Bro, I'd do 3v3s.
Dude, he just threw his gloves at you. He wants to meet
No,
the mall.
no. So listen. So I do, like I said, I love the game and I love the rock paper scissors. Like I'm weak against magic. Any magic user that walks up on me is going to destroy me, regardless of what I have. However, in like a big fight, those that have more resistances, like for example, Benrez, right now, if I was to go in the game and get $500
let's not
and
even
get
do
magic.
big fight, man, because it's
but-
all going to come down to numbers.
but listen,
This isn't
like,
a
if
pay to
I
win
was-
game. It's like
Right,
if you want to
listen.
pay your friends to come with you.
Listen, so if I was to go in the game and I do like
What if we don't have
I swipe
friends?
500, Oja, you have friends, you're right here. But no, but listen, and I gave magic resistance on all my gear. You're gonna do like 50 damage to me. Like you're not gonna beat me. So this is what they're doing. All these players, like in most of these big Zergs, they're just getting full resistances, and there's like nothing that you can really do unless you can, compete up there.
It's
That's
like you
truth.
said earlier, though. It is
That's the
paper, rock,
truth.
scissors. You're not buying full resistances to everything. You're still only getting resistances to one and like a half thing. You'll always be weak to something. You'll never not be weak to something. Like your example there, yeah, you can log in and buy a whole bunch of like magic evasion for Benraz, sure. But then the gear that you have currently, now you didn't trade it up, but it does have innate melee resist and
Yeah,
range
of course.
resist. You would
course.
lose that, so that the people that you're strong to now, like the crossbow players, if you went and tried to counter Benraz, you would then start losing to more crossbow players.
Yeah, but again,
I
that's
mean, let's be real.
that's
You guys have
semantics,
seen
bro.
the prices in the auction house. If you want to
People
buy
pay
like
that, bro.
maxed out purple
People
gear and you
pay
drop
that.
a couple $1,000, then like, you can eat my ass. You're still a loser.
I mean, but and then like it also applies to like other games, like World of Warcraft, for example, right? They got the WoW.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad, dude.
I can.
It's
pay
not as
some
bad as
guy,
that.
Yeah, but I can pay some guy in like 10 WoW tokens to carry me up to fucking Gladiator in Arena in World of Warcraft. and
People
get,
do
like,
that
the
in
best
every
piece.
single game. in
That's
PvP.
a
What do you
game.
mean?
That's just a title, dude. That's
No,
just a
it gives you
title
mount and you can
and a
you can
mount.
get the gear.
Does that mount out of its eyes blow a thunderbolt up somebody's asshole?
mean,
Is it just a
Okay,
mount?
fine. I'll go
I
the
mean, it
PvE
might.
route. I can pay some. I can pay a guild in WoW tokens, and they can run me through mythic raids and give me all the gear that drops during the run.
Can you not
Yeah,
do
but
that in Final
that's
Fantasy?
that's
Yeah,
just a
but
different.
in
That's
that game,
player. The
it's a
game
built-in
itself
system.
doesn't have that. Oh, stop it. That's a big reach, bro. That's reaching. That is
You
a
said
big
you just
reach.
said it's the players doing that, and like I said with TNL, it's the players doing this. The players are the
No,
one
it's not.
posting the stuff.
It's the actual in-game mechanic. They want you to buy Lucent. Like, why do you think you can't buy
know
it
what?
with gold?
Yeah, well, Blizzard wants you to buy the WoW token.
Nah, dude, that's a big reach. I'm not saying what Blizzard is doing. I don't even play World of Warcraft anymore. But saying that there's not like there's a little bit of pay to win, but not a lot in Thorn and Liberty is cap, dude.
Yo,
That is
just-
the
I
biggest
will say
lie
this.
ever
It's not
told.
pay to win. You just have to pay for gear.
Yeah, it's fucked
No,
up.
like I said, hey, even when I said it in the start, I said it is. If anyone trying to get into it, you can buy the gear. I said it is. I just said for me personally, I have different categories of where I place things. And if the company themselves isn't the one selling it, but it's the player doing it, while yes, it's still, crossing that line. But for me, I don't find the company as scummy as if the company themselves started like, having pop-ups that say, hey, you can buy the Arc Boss gear right now for like $60, and you just like click yes.
Yeah, but it's the
And
same
this
thing.
also-
You can just
yeah.
go in and wait like a week when there are, because people are going to sell that shit for like $400-$500. You can just be like, "Hey, I am the emperor of the world."
But we
Only
also
cost me
didn't
$400.
mention the fact that right now, if you're planning, like, and aware, you could be selling all of your purple gear, and there are people who've made like hundreds of thousands of Lucent for free just selling the purple
Okay,
gear, and you can just buy that shit.
Okay, Kaz, Odra, can we all agree that Bannerez and Fate are trying to white knight this game? Can we agree on that? Like, are we?
No, 'cause gearing is actually one of the things I fucking hate most about this game, because it follows the same route most fucking Korean MMOs do, where they try to make it look good instead of making it feel good to get. Like, oh cool, my new wizard hat dropped, but it's got 2 fucking strength and melee evasion, and what the fuck is this? And then you have to sit down and open the thesaurus, like, is this fun? And then you spend too much time thinking about it. And then, oops, it's been 10 minutes too long, so the
And then
fucking
it's been a
dungeon's
year.
locked out. And now you have to go farm for the pair of socks that give you dexterity, which is also good for a mage somehow. Like, it just, none of it makes fucking
I
sense.
saw that. They were like leveling intelligence with dexterity the whole way. I didn't like
Dude,
that.
doing dexterity mage is smart as fuck. Smartest thing you could do. And it doesn't make sense. Why is it?
Yeah.
That's rogue shit.
That's
Well,
intelligence and another magic.
It has-
thing.
It has
old
other
school
things.
RPGs, if you say, you're linking strength with physical damage, you're linking dexterity with quick damage, so like bows and daggers. You're linking intelligence with some kind of
hold on.
sorcery.
Hold on. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I really don't. I just think we're like staying off point.
Yeah.
Where Thorn and Liberty is the most pay to win game ever created. Like,
Yeah.
I
So,
really
there's
don't think
worse out
there
there.
is. I don't know where it is. What planet is it on? Because it's not on Earth.
It's called
BDO.
Blade and Soul.
It's worse
You
than
ever play it?
BDO. Blade and
It's
Soul I
not
never
Blade
played.
and Soul.
Yeah.
It's also called Lost Ark.
I don't think.
So I
So
was
I played a
gonna
little bit of
finish
Lost
that.
Ark. I don't think it's as bad as this fucking throne,
Lost
dude.
Ark, you can literally in the game swipe to just level up your gear. You don't have to go through another player.
Yeah,
You
but
don't gotta,
that's Throne of
like-
Liberty in 2 months. In 2 months in Throne of Liberty. In
It
2
will
months
get
in Throne of
worse.
Liberty.
Even if it's not that bad right now, it'll
Bro,
get worse.
Fate.
They
So Fate,
toned it
what did you
down
tell me
for our
earlier?
version. Maybe.
Yeah. What did you tell me earlier, Fate? Do you remember when you said, "Oh, they're coming up with a new system, that we're gonna have to pay money for"? Bro, this is
I
like
didn't say
literally
that
they're
last part. You
leeching.
said that last part.
They're leeching.
I said that Korea was coming up with a new progression system for their characters, and that we will eventually
Dude.
get it. And they didn't mention how.
Bro, I don't want a new
anything that it
progression
works.
system
Bro,
in this game. It's already
bro,
so slow.
I'm gonna start a petition tonight after this podcast. I'm gonna start a petition to change the name of Throne and Liberty to Throne and Credit Card, or Throne and American Express, whichever you prefer. We can do that because it's really a battle who has the bigger balance on your credit card. And dude, I'm telling you, I love the game, but you gotta call a spade a spade. This is the most fucked up thing I've ever seen, where a guy comes up to me and he's like, "Credit card." And it's just, I'm looking at him. I can't fucking say anything because I'm like, you're right. You will whoop my ass. Like, right
I don't know.
now,
I
because
spent
can't
some
do
time
anything.
in arcades, so this just feels like baby's first steps to me.
I don't know, man. I love the game. I love almost everything about it, apart from the pay to win. That was my, and I remember telling Fate that was my biggest concern, and I wanted to give it a few weeks before I said anything. Literally paid attention to everything, dude. There was a fucking poor guy last night. I forget his name, like Jacktor or something. The only reason I remember his name is he was complaining in general chat. He's like, dude, this guild just kicked me. I'm like, why? He's like, because I don't pay money for this game, so I'm stuck at 2,400. They told me that I would have to go and use a credit card to reach like 3,000, or they're kicking me out. And I'm looking at him like, holy shit, bro. So this is like, again, this game is churning. Like, again, if you have all the time in the world, if you're lucky, maybe you get there on your own. But if you don't have a good credit card, buddy, this is not for you.
I do want to point out that is so inaccurate on getting that high with a credit card. I'm at 3,000 in blues.
Yeah, because you put in like 48 hours in one day. You somehow double the day. But there's people that can't put 8 hours a day in a video game. Like,
yeah,
how do you get there?
For like 3 weeks. Like, how quickly do
I don't know,
get to
bro.
the very end?
Okay, so there isn't a lot of people at 3,000. Like right now, I think everybody's at that 26,000, 2,600 gear score, if that. And there are some that are lucky, who played a little bit more, that have, all over 3,000, unless you pay. And then there's like these guilds that are like 500, group. You can only join the guild if you have $500 on your credit card to spend. And it's like, holy fucking shit, man.
I agree with you. At the moment, in my opinion, I'm going to give the game like 6 months to maybe a year to see what AGS does with it, to see how bad or
Bro,
how
you're
good
going to
it
be
gets.
broke. You're going to be broke as
I haven't
fuck.
spent-
Like,
I haven't-
we're
I
going to
haven't
have
spent
to...
anything on it now outside of like the battle pass, so we're good there. So we'll see how it goes. And, if it crashes and burns, it crashes and burns. It is what it is. I'll have a good time playing it regardless,
Just so you guys know, I will not be spending any money on this game.
Yeah.
Like, I can sell. I just want to see how far I can
really
get.
Good slot mog.
Hold on.
Shit, I'm
let me rephrase.
Even thinking about having to buy a new world. I wouldn't spend money on a free game.
Let me rephrase that. If there is Mandalorian armor that you can buy in game, I will definitely buy that. Apart from that, I will be not spending any money in this game, because I am selling some purples and things that I get. I can actually buy 2 game passes or battle passes right now. So I don't need to spend any more money on this. But with that said, I want to see how far I can take it without spending money. Kaz, I know you've been laughing this whole time. What do you think, Bubba?
Oh, I'm just part of why I'm laughing is the bad takes to cover pay to win. But besides that, because some of that was pretty fun. I think that pay to win is going to be a growing trend. Something we brought up in previous episodes, but the guy who has become established, has extra income, and doesn't want to grind 8 to 12 hours a day is always going to want there to be a credit card option. And if you're a business guy in charge of these MMOs, it'd be borderline retarded of you to not be like, yeah, I want to enable that behavior. And we're seeing less and less subscription-based MMOs hitting the scene. I think that unfortunately it's going to become more common. It is interesting that that whole thing is missing from New World. There is no gear
No
score
pay
you
to
can
win,
buy.
baby. No pay to win, baby. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Odra, we're gonna finish it with you. Take us home, baby. What do you think about this?
About the game in general or the pay to win?
The pay to win option, what's going on in MMOs in general with the pay to win, especially with Thrones of Liberty now that what we see what's going on.
I think it can be a slippery slope. I don't like paying to get gear. I don't really give too much of a shit about, but I think game companies will, once they figure out that people will use that instead of just spending time to grind for gear, they will abuse the shit out of their subscribers with it.
Yeah, no,
like every little
I
thing.
agree,
If
dude.
you want to do a dungeon, $5. If you want to join a match,
Yeah.
$2.
Oh, I can see that happening down in the future, man. I mean, it genuinely is a little crazy right now. Go ahead.
Remember
Faith.
that Ubisoft CEO? I think it was Ubisoft, the CEO that stepped down, who wanted to charge a dollar per bullet.
Yeah, yeah. I heard after he
believe
stepped down. After he stepped down, I heard he went to work at Ensoft. So I'm just kidding.
think he
I don't
went
know,
to
but it
EA,
makes fucking
actually.
sense. I don't know. It would fucking make sense if you went to Throne of Liberty, guys. Again, let me rephrase this maybe before we end here. I think Throne of Liberty is one of the best games I've played, apart from the pay to win. That is the worst thing I've ever seen in any fucking MMO ever. And the other thing that I'm going to say, and I don't like to call other creators out here at all, because I don't think that's, I think it's a little, under the table. I don't like doing that. Kanan, who is like, I think the premier streamer, right, for this game. I actually watched a couple of his streams, and when he was talking about it's still pay to win, but it's not as bad as it could be. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how bad it is in Korea, but if you were talking about that here now is better than it is in Korea, I can only imagine the amount of fucking money people are paying in Korea for this shit. I am in like, what the fuck is happening kind of mode. Like the amount of money that you have to pay right now in this game in the United States to be top is ridiculous, in my opinion. That should never be a thing. If it's worse than Korea, like holy fucking fuck. Like that is what we have to look forward to in MMOs. That is ridiculous. That's all I'm going to say about this. Does anybody else want to say anything before we end the podcast? Fine, you can't.
does anyone
We
have,
can't. We can't edit
40,000
that.
Lucent laying around?
Oh yeah, let me grab my American Express for you. Do you want to be the top G? Do you want to, do you want to shave your head and go around smacking women around? I'm just kidding. That was just
Yeah, I
where
want
that came from.
want my
Where
whale
that came from.
fins to be bedazzled.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But yeah, there's a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's not pay to win," and I just look at him and I'm like, "How can you fucking say that?" And then like with a straight face, like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, man?" I don't know. That's just me. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate all the love and support. Come hang out with us next week. We'll actually have an episode on Sunday, and then the full pod, the full crew is going to be here next Wednesday. Take care, everybody.